Hello everybody, my name is Spencer and I am a cinematographer based out of Michigan and Ontario. In this video I want to talk about my Pocket 4K setup and how I rig it for traveling. My wife and I just recently went to Niagara Falls and I took the Pocket 4K with me and I'm going to display that sequence now. The way I rig up the Pocket 4K for traveling is I keep it pretty minimal. I like to have an NPF battery plate and an NPF battery up top for power, and I use a solid state drive to record media. This is a 500 gigabyte SSD. On trips, I typically like to use only one lens. Sometimes I'll broaden out and use a couple others. But for the most part, the Sigma 18-35 stays on my camera. The reason being is it is a super versatile lens. It's a zoom, constant aperture, and it's really fast. And for trips, I like using wider lenses since most of the time I'm trying to cover landscapes and architecture and scenery. So using a wider lens helps me to capture all that. If I were to put a matte box, 15mm rods, V-mount, monitor, it would be a little bit harder to get into certain places and achieve certain looks as well. So that's why I love using such a compact and downsized rig while I'm traveling, because it's a lot easier to get creative and not as many people are looking at you as well. So that's another plus. Usually when I'm traveling and I am taking my cameras with me, I try to shoot in more compressed formats to preserve media, because I don't want to run through all my media, but most importantly, I'm not getting paid for these projects, so I don't want to use all this data and fill up all my hard drives. So for a lot of my work, I'll shoot in 12:1 compression in B-raw. 12:1 compression does break down a little bit more than 8:1, and it's a little softer than 8:1 or 5:1, but I think it's a good mix of preserving data while also trying to retain quality. You could get away with recording 12:1 B-raw with an SD card. So an SSD is great if you want to shoot in less compressed formats, but an SD card is great for keeping it small, and you don't have to worry about cable management, and also you don't have to worry about cables being unplugged mid-shot. I love using the Sony NPF 970 battery. It's a little bit larger. It does add a little bit of stability to your rig too, because it's a heavier battery. But the main reason I love it is that it lasts a long time. So I was shooting at 4K, 24p, and 60p in 12:1 B-raw, and I was able to get 3.5 to 4 hours of battery life. I also was running a variable ND on my camera, that way I can get good looking motion blur. But that's all. I didn't run any filters besides that. This was my setup for the entire trip. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and liking this video. That would help me out a bunch. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.